So two things stood out yesterday in Houston. Probably could have delivered that better. That makes it sound awkward. But Deshaun Watson looked rusty at quarterback.
Yeah.
And the Houston Texans are atrocious. They're a bad football team. And that was my biggest takeaway from that game, the return of Deshaun Watson there with against the Houston Texans.
Yeah, it almost looked like he was bedridden for like 2 years, or like maybe just on a massage table for 2 years or something. I don't know. But he looked rusty. And that's one of the things that I think people fail to understand and realize is the speed and the intensity of the game. Like, it's even at the college level, too. Like, you kind of go down there pregame, stand on the sidelines, you're watching dudes fly around, you're like, dang, like, I did that at one point. And you're like going, I don't, like, you think you could go out there and do it again, but some part of you, too, is kind of like, you forget about, like, the mindset you have to have going into it and what that feels like. Literally, you got to flip a switch. And I don't care what position you play, you have to flip a switch. Because when you go out there on the field, like, you can get hurt. You can have a serious injury with how this game is played. So it looked like the game was moving too fast for him, and you kind of felt like that was going to be the case. But fortunately, it was a warm-up game against the Texans, who are the worst team in the NFL. It's not even close. And in front of a crowd that it didn't look like many people were there to really watch them. So I'm not sure it even mattered that Watson was coming back, and if people wanted to come boo him or hate on him. This team is so bad they can't field anything. You know, it didn't seem like there's much of anyone there at the game.
Yeah, I kind of felt like we were heading towards it being a dud of a story, and it kind of lived up to the potential of it. Like, it was a dud. Like, of course, you were going to hear fans being, fans. They were going to boo them. And put it to you this way. Extraordinary. He left under some extraordinary circumstances. I mean, the things that played out and have happened. But players get booed that come back to their former teams. It happens. Either you're super beloved. I mean, didn't some people boo Russell Wilson when he went back to Seattle? Yeah, I mean,
one of them was Pete Carroll.
He was leading the chant.
Yeah.
Listen, some people are going to get booed. Some people are going to be beloved. You guys tell me. I didn't see anything happen that was out of the norm for a marquee former franchise player returning back to their home stadium, their original stadium. I didn't see anything out of the norm.
They seem like the Texans fan base just seems a little disenchanted with the franchise. Like, they're not, like, it wasn't even listed as a sellout. Like, I thought it was going to be a sellout, their most attended game.
Did you see the stands?
It wasn't even close. And but even like tickets sold. Like, there were still thousands of tickets that weren't sold to this game. And I thought, man, Deshaun Watson's back. Maybe they come back and they're fired up. They feel like, he burned a bridge with them. And yet here we are, and they didn't care. They didn't care at all the way I think a lot of people, myself included, thought they would. And that's how it played out.
Maybe all the suites were sold out. Maybe that's where they were all at. We just didn't see that.
I've heard about those suites.
Yeah. Sweet life. Can I just say this, though? It's kind of crazy to think of the departure from Bill O'Brien when they were at least winning the AFC South.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which I don't know that that's much to ask for right now. I mean, that division, the South divisions in the NFL, AFC and NFC, stink. And it's like you moved on from Bill O'Brien, and now you're looking at a disaster since. I mean, he was winning with, like, second-string quarterbacks, third-string. I mean, he was winning divisions. And now they can barely even field a crowd to come watch how bad this team has gotten.
It's brutal. Now, let's hear from Deshaun Watson. So the Browns quarterback, he spoke after the game. He talked about his return back to Houston, his performance. Here he was afterwards.
Being my first game back here in Houston was tough. Walking into the stadium on the opposite side of the stadium and locker room, it was different because I know exactly how those guys get ready for games and how they do the pregame, the talk, and everything. So it was a lot of emotion. Like I said, it is what it is. I can't control what the fans do and how they approach whenever I step on the field. My job is to go out there and execute and do my best as I can for the team. I just say I felt every single one of those 700 days, honestly. I said however long I've been out, I felt every single one of those days. So getting back in shape and everything was definitely needed to feel that today.
Yeah, probably sore. I mean, all that stuff. I mean, going on 2 years, he hasn't played an actual game. Although we do have some good news. According to Adam Schefter, Deshaun Watson, this was reported yesterday or over the weekend, that he has shown progress in his treatment program. Signs of progress during his mandatory treatment program.
Man, Schefter always just has that inside scoop.
It's
almost like it's like some agent's writing it for him.
I'm trying to figure out.
Just co-signs it.
Like, what would indicate signs of progress? Instead of 40, he's down.
I don't know.
To
he's not
18?
going to bring his towel everywhere with him. I don't know.
What
did he have a towel with him yesterday in the game?
I don't know. What are we talking about here?
Could his quarterback towel have doubled as the towel that he used?
Oh God. It's like a Ginzu knife at some point, you could do amazing things with that thing. And here's the idea that Adam Schefter is spinning this with, well, look, he's shown signs of How? How do you prove that he's shown signs of progress from treatment?
Well, he's not, What
do you mean? What are you getting at?
LaVar, can you help him with this?
Signs of progress from treatment.
I mean,
that's like real. That's a real report.
Yeah.
And that was all the detail that was given.
Yeah, signs of progress.
But what would be signs of progress in your mind, LaVar?
Yeah,
I've got an idea in my mind.
Now, do you want to hear? I've got a further quote for you. I got a further quote.
Further quote. All right.
This is from one source connected to Watson's treatment program. Quote: "He's been progressing well, and he wants to continue with it, and they feel it's helping him. He's just sort of ongoing as needed, and it'll be ongoing until it's not needed anymore. And I think it's given him a lot of help and support, but this could take a while."
I don't get it.
I don't either.
I mean, I really don't get it.
Like what are we trying to do here?
Man.
What are we doing here? It just doesn't make any sense.
Oh man!
Like he's really shown signs of progress. He's down to 18 this time. He was at 40-something before. He's now down to 18. He's got a rotation of 18. He's really trimmed the fat here. What are we talking about here? It could take a while.
Oh man!
Yeah, no kidding. He's got a problem. It could be here forever. It's just. So, I mean, I'm trying to figure out what these signs of progress are.
Some of these, tweets and reports you get from Schefter, I'm just like, all right, the agent wrote that. I mean, literally,
yeah,
it sounds like it came directly from the agent. I'm like, what? And look, I get it. That's kind of his job. He's an insider. He's got to have these relationships. But I'm like, my goodness. Make it a little bit more objective.
I would like to have more information. I mean, I would. Okay, that made me. I felt like I compromised myself there. I just would be curious as to what has been done. You come out and say, okay, Deshaun Watson has gone through the program. He's back. He's did his suspension. Who's to say it's not business as usual? It's just a different approach.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And all seriousness, I'm not even joking right now. Who's to say you're not back, and who's to say you haven't been back to business as usual? Because you always, when you do things, and listen, this is all alleged because he's settled, but we can assume because he did confess or admit that he was getting these massages done. If he doesn't believe he's guilty, which we all know he has assumed or continued to say he's innocent, he wanted to fight it. And he did whatever he needed to do to continue playing football. So he doesn't believe he did anything wrong. He doesn't believe he's wrong. So if you don't believe that you're wrong, then why would you stop doing what you're doing if you became one of the highest paid players in the history of the game? Like, obviously, he probably is sitting somewhere thinking he's done everything right and everybody else got everything wrong.
Like, so that was part of what got him that $230 million.
Jonas, it might sound silly to say it.
I tell you, yeah.
But if we're being serious here, if you don't think you did anything wrong.
Yeah, that's true.
And you settled and everybody else is wrong, then who's to say he's not continuing to do the same exact things that got him to where he is right now today?
Yeah.
That's what I'm curious about. That's more of the story.
Some people are superstitious. They keep doing the same things because, like, hey, I had success doing this, and
same sock,
keep doing it.
Same sock, same shoe, same shoelace tied, same towel.
Yeah.
Same.
What happens if he's like superstitious about it now?
That's
great point.
Bro, what if he hasn't done it and he played the way he played yesterday and was like, man, forget this.
Yeah.
Like, you remember when Superman got punched in his face when he went into the little diner after he came out because he said he didn't want to be Superman because he wanted to hang with Lois Lane? What if Deshaun Watson came out of that game like, forget this. Like, Deshaun Watson got to do Deshaun Watson if he's going to be that guy out there on the field.
Remember the program when the Latimer got off the gas?
And he got ran over on the side,
and then he realized,
on the goal line?
Hey, I got to get back to this stuff that got me here. And that's what he did.